Yeah, so we're back and we're back live again, and this is the football segment of the show. Thank you very much for staying tuned. For everybody that's viewing us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, thank you very much, and we do really appreciate. And if you like the show, please endeavor to share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Of course, my name is Alija Adebowale. I still have Orakukachi with me, the bearded Orakukachi. I have Olale with me, and of course, I have Oluwaseyi. I call him Clef. I call him Van der Sar. I depends on what I like to call him on that particular day. And of course, we're going straight to the Champions League, and we're talking about the games that will be happening in the course of the week. Olale, the erratic AC Milan, or should I say the out of form AC Milan versus another out of form or erratic Tottenham Hotspur. I know we've spoken about how Spurs plays, what they do, and of course, it has not been working. And I start to be corrected. I still don't see the Spurs team as a bad team. I feel there's more of a coaching problem and a boardroom problem for Spurs more than a player problem. But they are going to be facing each other at the San Siro. What should we expect from this kind of match? Honestly, I feel personally, I think it can go either way. Whoever shows up on that day, Milan are not guaranteed to score goals. Their defense is prone to the defense is prone to mistakes as well. But you can say the same for Spurs. Olari.
That makes it very, very unpredictable, and one funny thing about the Champions League has always been when the group stages were played, the form you were then doesn't matter. That's like 2 months ago. Now we are in the knockout stage in February. But for Tottenham, probably nothing else has changed since then. For AC Milan, things have changed from good to worse. It's one of those encounters that you don't want to bring any tactical analysis into it.
Analysis to it.
You just want to look at how the both teams have been playing. Spurs have been playing hot and cold. I think generally what I've noticed about them is probably because of the way they are being set up. They are a team that are not set up to take the initiative. They just don't know how to take the game to the opponent. We've seen games when they have larger percentage of possession, but their possessions are just meaningless.
Does not translate to any kind
of
of
transition of the ball from defense to attack is so slow, predictable, and easy to play against. But relatively a little bit more comfortable when they are sit behind and just probably play on the counter. I think Son has been disappointing so far this season. We have to let that be known.
Yeah, 100%.
Probably that was due to the fact that I think he has overachieved in terms of the number of goals he scored compared to what he's compared to the eye test. And that's sometimes eye test for me is the best. Stats at times could be very, very deceptive. Based on stats, he was doing fantastically, but the eye test probably were not really. So I don't know what the coach is going to do different. Is he going to stick with his 3-4-3 formation, which generally it has proven not to be very effective in Europe, even in his old clubs when he was at Juventus. Remember, despite their exploit that period, Europe was where they probably didn't do well. For AC Milan will play at home. Everything just went from good to bad post the World Cup, and since then they've not been able to recover. This is going to be one of those games that is going to be dull. I just think one team might be able to take the initiative
and do something extra.
But who is going to do that between those two? I don't even know.
Okay.
Probably I'm just looking at a probably goalless draw, to be sincere.
Okay.
It's just like or a score draw. I don't think any of those teams has shown me enough to see them winning the encounter.
encounter. Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Lolly, for that. Sheyi, I'm going to come to you, and I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to ask you a different question, and my question would be, um, if something is going to happen in this game, who do you think is going to make that happen for Milan? Is it going to be Rafael Lau? Is it going to be Sandro Tonatelli? Is it going to be Brahimi? Is it going to be the whole us Giroud? Over the weekend, I saw Zlatan Ibrahimovic on the bench as well. And for Spurs, is it going to be Cage Harry Kane and that's the end, or we might just see Hallberg coming up with the goods, like some of the hot days I was saying.
Um, uh, uh, like Olawale said, these two teams are probably the worst of the best teams in Europe at the moment. If you look at the two teams, you wonder how they actually play in the second round of the Champions League with their form. But like Olawale rightly said, your form in the first half of the season might not really, translate into the latter part of the season, which is what we are seeing. Post World Cup has affected a lot of players, a lot of teams also. We've seen different teams start dropping points afterwards. So, however, I think Spurs being coached by an Italian coach will actually carry the edge towards San Siro. That is one. Another thing is the way he sets them up actually plays is going to really help them in this particular type of game. I expect AC Milan to be the playing team on the night. I expect the Conte team to sit the way they sit and try to counter. Son and Kane will Son and Kane will probably be the danger guy on the night, to be sincere.
But Son has not been in very good form anyway, so
yeah, exactly. Such nights that you see Son, what I've seen with Son this season is that he has also been like inconsistent. You see a Son today, tomorrow, see a kind of a passing Son on the day. So this type of game actually, that's where you use the speed of Son and the technical capability of Kane will actually come out. However, the defense of Tottenham will probably be the bane of that team. We've always been talking about Ugo Lloris's blunder and all that, but I've actually seen that they are missing Ugo Lloris. I think Ugo Lloris commands the defense line better than Fraser Foster. We could see that over the weekend. They were just all over
the place.
So I think Tottenham might just be able to hedge this particular tie. I don't know what will happen at White. I was about
Tottenham Stadium, Sports Stadium. Yeah.
But I think Kane will do something great on the night.
Okay.
Probably a 1-2 score result.
Score. Okay. Oracle Kachi is your team, but I know you are not you've not been impressed for the past couple of weeks up with Milan. So what do you think? What do you think you guys can do on the night?
I echo Olale's sentiment, but I disagree with the fact that it will be a boring game. I think due to the technical issues both teams are facing right now, it looks like Pioli has peaked with what he can do with the current team he has in terms of technical ability. Stefano Pioli, but maybe it's just the fact that these guys are all facing a slump at unfortunately the same time. But you know how two teams can be so bad that it makes for an interesting high-scoring game. That is what I expect here. I think both defenses don't give us that confidence. Both attack, unfortunately, also do not give us that confidence. However, because I think the malaise of the defenses are much higher than whatever the attacks are facing, I expect both of them to ship goals. It will still be a 1-goal advantage for Milan going into the second leg, but it most likely might finish 3-2 in favor of Milan. Not because they are so good, but they will be so bad that goals will be inevitable
in this kind of game. Yeah. All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that as well. Olale, I'm going to come back to you. PSG versus Bayern. No manning for Bayern. The coach has been susceptible as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm not a big fan of the coach. As a matter of fact, the team itself is not as solid as the Bayern that we've seen of the yesteryears. PSG on their part lost last week. Followed that again with another comprehensive loss against Monaco. Mbappe is definitely out. At least as of today, is definitely out of the game. Messi is doubtful for the game as well. And you look at it like, okay, looks like this team it's on a scale of 1 to 10, it looks like a balanced game. If you ask me, as a matter of fact, Bayern has the edge. If you ask me, honestly, because you look at PSG and you wonder what X factor they bring to the game apart from Neymar. And Neymar can be Neymar.
Neymar doesn't even like to play in February.
Exactly. So Neymar can be Neymar, and you know it doesn't make it's quote and unquote. It's just an open game. Bayern does not look good, at least on paper, and their coach might decide to bench both Gnabry and Mosella and Sane on the same day. He does that every time. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? As a matter of fact, you know. So you don't know what's going to happen. But on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think this will pan out?
Yeah, I think even if Messi and probably Mbappe were to be available, I think both of them not available just changes the dynamics of this game completely. It's a no-brainer. It's advantage Bayern Munich, and with the addition of what do you call it, Cancelo from Man City, I think it has given them more options in terms of how they want to play. And I think they were having issues in the center back position, and I think Pavard has moved there, so Cancelo has perfectly slotted into the right back position. It's a PSG game to lose. I'll be surprised even if it's a Bayern game
to lose. Yeah,
lose. I'll be surprised even I think PSG will be playing the first leg at home. I'll even be surprised if they are able to get a draw. I'm seeing a PSG a Bayern Munich victory written all over this
fixture.
Both first leg and second leg as it stands now, except something changes before Tuesday.
Okay, Kachi, what about you? What do you think? Do you think Bayern victory written all over this or PSG PSG masterclass?
To be very honest, I think before this week, my choices and my opinions were changing with every news we were hearing. This one getting injured in Bayern, then this one getting injured in France, then this one getting injured in you know. So my thought has oscillated that way. I still agree with you that Bayern is a better team, not because they have the better individuals, but a better team.
Kaki, I think they have the better individual all round.
I believe that
all round.
In Messi, the truth is they may have better individual in other positions, but Messi hides the shortcomings of
I understand
anything that he plays in.
Their top three could be the best, but overall, I think probably Bayern still has the
overall Bayern. Yes, Bayern has the better team. Let's put it that way: the better team, but PSG has the best individual player in Lionel Messi.
I agree with you.
Messi, I believe, would bring his A game to this. I expect this game to be a score draw. That is my expectation. Especially, but what is giving me a cause for concern, well, not concern, is the fact that PSG dropped the ball and showed clearly from their weekend game against AS Monaco that their focus is not on the league. and they were really trying to play without get anybody else getting injured in preparation for this game. That may give them the slight edge. If we're talking over 2 legs, then it's easy for me to say Bayern wins over 2 legs. But for this week's game, I will say score draw will probably be a fair result. So that's my take.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Rikachi. Sheya, I'm gonna come to you. Jamal might dribble 5 players, 10 players in the Bundesliga. It's a different ball game when you're meeting players like Renato Sanchez, Marco Verratti, Vitinha, and the rest of the clique from PSG. And I'm looking at the Bayern Munich. Who's going to score for them anyways? They don't have a striker. I'm no disrespect to Chouamoteng. I don't disrespect him. I know he's a good free agent. He has done that wonderfully well in his career.
He's a journey.
he's a journeyman. No, I have to put the free agent there. If you say journeyman, that's like Nicolas Anelka. He's a free agent. He knows how to secure the bag. And I'm looking at them. Okay, who's going to score for them? Is Sane going to be able to do it? Gnabry, is he going to be able to do it? Is Leon Goretzka even going to start and stuff like that? So where's the pendulum swinging on your side? Or you are sitting on the fact that it's probably going to be a draw, like Kachi said, or straight up win for Bayern, like Olali said?
Actually, is hard to say. But I believe whatever Bayern Munich is missing at the moment, in likes of Mane, they actually have other players that can wake up and pick. You understand? To that role, and if not do better on the night. You have Musiala, you have Leroy Sané, you have Gnabry that can actually play and still score goals. And I believe the way they also play, the way Bayern Munich play, you can hardly point at the person that is going to score in that particular game, because they play expansive football.
Expansive football, yeah.
Move the ball around constantly, and they actually run behind lines. So you can hardly pinpoint that Chouamoteng, if he's not so much as a world-class striker, then who's going to come up with the goals? Anybody can score in that front line. Even you'll be surprised that Kimmich can come in and score goals. So if we are talking about goals, Bayern Munich will actually score goals.
Kachi, can you confirm if Joshua Kimmich is going to be available for this game? Please go ahead, Shay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the Paris Saint-Germain side, I think Messi is still doubtful, so we can't really say he's out of the game.
Yeah, 100%.
But to be sincere, if you don't have Messi and you don't have Mbappe in the PSG team, then I think it's going to be quite a blunt attack. They will only try to dominate the ball, but without Messi and Mbappe, only a one-way street, as far as I'm concerned. Bayern is going to take today. But as regards the tie itself, if you have Messi and Mbappe back for the second leg, then it's going to be a different tie.
A different ball game.
So Kim will be available for the first game. It's only if Julian Nagelsmann decides to select him, but he's back. He has served his domestic ban. He's available to play if anything.
Oh, great! If he does not select Joshua Kimmich, then he should get the sack letter this following morning. Anyways, of course, Club Brugge versus Benfica. These are 2 surprises of the Champions League. We know what Club Brugge did in the group stage, waving past everybody, even when most people did not give them a chance. Of course, Benfica coming out tops in their group as well, ahead of PSG and Juventus from their group to get to this stage of it. They've lost Enzo Fernandez, but we know Benfica, they churn out these stars almost every summer, as a matter of fact, every month from their own small La Masia. Balali, what should we expect between Brugge and Benfica in this game?
Yeah, these were 2 teams that probably surprised us with the way nobody expected Benfica to qualify from a group with PSG
And
and
Juve,
Juventus. In fact, I think they ended the group as the
the
winner,
winner. Yeah.
the winner of the group stage. Club Brugge, I think, finished second, but they were they did very well at the earlier parts of the group stage. They were topping the group up to like I think match day 4 or match day 5 thereabouts. Yes, Benfica have lost Enzo. Yes, but you can still recall that. I think he joined them in the summer, so he has probably hardly played 6 months for them. So I don't think that should be hard for them to replace. I don't think they will really feel his what do you call his presence
His
in the team.
absence.
Yeah, his absence in that team. Uh, I think I'll go uh with Benfica. They are the team with the more pedigree. Gonzalo Ramos, the guy that scored a hat trick at the World Cup, is
Ah,
expect him to lead the line. Jao
ah,
Mario,
of course.
Jao Mario, who
Yeah,
once played for Inter Milan,
yeah.
uh, expect him to have his own contribution to from.
Feel the
I
yeah.
just think I think their performance is more sustainable than that of
The
Club
flat.
Brugge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you think
I think
basically you
Club Brugge
think
must have lost a little bit of steam
momentum
because of that gap
gap.
where between the time the group stage were played and the time where we are resuming now. I think Benfica will stand a better chance. The first leg, yeah, probably a draw, but overall, I think Benfica is going to go through.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Kachi and Sheyi. Do you agree with him as well? Do you think it's going to be a Benfica? I'm actually going for Club, but this is happening in Belgium. You know, wherever Olawale is, I like to be anti Olawale. So
The
Mm.
truth
don't be
is,
surprised.
the price element Bruges enjoyed has waned. Um, Benfica will be better prepared for them now. I have to be honest. I don't know what their performance has been like post World Cup. But I do think Benfica wins this over 2 legs. It's just so
Now
hard
I'm
to.
talking about this leg, Kachi, please.
This leg, I think
This leg.
Club Brugge will. The truth is, I still give it to Benfica. Benfica, I'm planning a vacation to Portugal to go get the water from Benfica as well. I want to make sure my son drinks about 2 liters of that. So he can have some of their football pedigree. Benfica has shown that they can silence even the most vociferous crowd, which
Yeah.
I expect Club Brugge to be like on Wednesday. However, they don't have that element of surprise anymore. Benfica are better organized. They've been at this situation more times than even Club Brugge can imagine. And for that reason alone, Benfica has all it takes to win both legs of the game. So I'm giving it to Benfica. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's good. I like the odds. I like when the odds are against me. So that means 2-1. She as it stands now, you're going for Benfica as well. They have more pedigree. Even the Costa can come and play for them.
Obviously. I think Club Brugge actually is a surprise of the tournament, and I think this definitely will be the end of that surprise. At the
That
moment,
fairy tale
yeah, at the moment, I think they're like fourth on the table in the Belgian
in the
league. They're
Belgian league. Yeah.
much performing well. Benfica, on the other hand, topping their group ahead of FC Porto. I think on the night, Benfica is just going to have that away win
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and wrap up the tie.
Is in Portugal. All right, perfect. And of course, Dortmund versus Chelsea. Chelsea historically, and Awale, I'm looking at you on this one. Historically, the last two Champions League victories for Chelsea. The last 2 times they've won the Champions League, or the 2 times they've won the Champions League, they've been so bad domestically, but come out to win the Champions League. And
Are we seeing anything?
and exactly that's what I'm trying to say. And we've seen midterm changes of coach, luck going for them, the valor going for them as well. And as
They
it
said there's nothing
stands,
like luck. don't don't say this where Chelsea fans are. There's nothing like luck.
Most Chelsea fans doesn't understand the nitty gritty of football, and I'm sorry to say that most of them don't. Some do, but most of them don't. And we are seeing it. They've been able to successfully register players like Modric, Enzo Fernandez, Wa Felix that have already played in the Champions League. The rule changes time and time again. And they are playing against a resurgent Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund they are very close, even though like 1 point behind Bayern Munich right now, or Berlin at the top of the German Bundesliga right now. They've been trying to rejuvenate themselves, win games. Karim Adeyemi is playing pretty well. Sebastian Haller is back. He has scored a couple of goals since he came back as well. And Julian Brandt, of course. What's this guy's name? Ryan. I've forgotten the first name for a couple of seconds right now. The kid of the legend Claudio Reyna, formerly of Fulham, Gio Reyna, the US boy as well. They pretty much is going on for them. And the black and yellow stadium is a crazy stadium. If you go there and you win, that means you as a team is actually crazy as well. So we're having this at the home of Dortmund against Chelsea. Chelsea lose tacticless right now, up until now. But of course, they have a couple of players in, so you expect this little bit of gelling from the players as well. But this is Champions League. Once you miss your chance, that's the end of it. Do we see Chelsea doing something against Dortmund, or this is going to be a strict Dortmund win?
Yeah. The form guide shows that Dortmund have won their last 5 games, and I think those were the games they've played. Post, what do you call it? Post the World Cup. I think their performance prior to the World Cup was a little bit here and there. But for now, and what I think goes the advantage that I think the Borussia Dortmund is going to have in this tie is continuity. This is a team. These are sets of players that have been playing together for a while. You talk about, is it your favorite boy Yusuf Makoko, Julian Brandt, Marco Reus, Jude Bellingham, Joe Luna. I think they've loaned out Torgan Hazard.
They have.
Sule, Guerrero. These are known faces, and it counts when you come to this kind of competition. I think my fear for Chelsea is I think they have a very good collection of players now. I saw their game against West Ham over the weekend. I'm impressed with what I saw. I think they were unlucky not to have gone like 2 or 3 goals ahead before West Ham got their equalizer. On another day, the Havertz goal and the other, let me say, the first goals is allowed for Joao Felix probably will have counted. But again, I think they are still learning to play together as a team. They are still learning to understand each other's better. I have my major concern with Chelsea is going to be the center of the midfield. Enzo Fernandez has proven to be a very capable player in that role, but who is going to complement him has been my issue. The other one is who is going to lay the line. I don't know what the coach might probably come with. I'll probably prefer a Joao Felix to lay the line. But again, that comes down to probably leaving one more slot for Mason Mount, which I have not really been impressed. I think probably is one of the reasons why most Chelsea strikers have not really been performing, because he has not really been. I've not seen probably being that guy who tends to find the striker in a position for them to score. So looking at it, I just think probably this game is a bit too soon for the Chelsea guys, in my opinion. I think Dortmund, with the confidence they are in, with the guys who probably knows themselves very well, in Bellingham and Marco Reus, I just think Dortmund, the first leg fine, probably a draw. But when I look at it overall, I'll probably go for a Dortmund win. First leg, probably a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw. But I think Dortmund edge this over 2 legs.
Over 2 legs. All right, perfect. And what about you, Shay? You think Dortmund they'll be able to win their way out of this as well for this first leg, most importantly, and of course over the 2 legs as well.
Okay, for me, I'll also like to echo Olawale's opinion about the Chelsea team. What I saw over the weekend was actually promising. Let me use that word, promising, because it's easy to to say they played well, but we have to see them over a number of matches.
Yeah.
To actually see what they can do with this set of players. But to be sincere, it was quite promising, and that's from a point of a fan that is not a Chelsea fan, right? But like you said, I think a Dortmund team that's been playing together over the years might just be too strong for them for this particular match. But I see a Chelsea team that will pose serious threats in the Champions League. You mentioned a lot of players that are Champions League players coming together to play. But they are quite lucky with the rules changing. Initially they would have been cup tied.
Yes.
I have to dig into the pockets to actually play this particular type of game. But luckily for them, they're able to parade the likes of your Felix, Modric. I think we mentioned this same thing last week about January transfer for Chelsea. See what we actually talked about. I think they actually did a fantastic transfer.
Business.
They had a business in January, even though they paid too much for some of these people. But I think the players they at this point are the ones they need.
They needed right now. So at least to skill and get themselves through the finish line.
To rejuvenate that team, because it was quite a mess for the last half of the season. For this first match, I think they might just lose to Dortmund, but the bridge is where everything will be settled. That's our need to see what this Chelsea team
is really made of.
Yeah, over a couple of weeks, then we'll probably reanalyze the second leg.
Okay, all right, perfect. Of course, Victor Osimhen can't stop scoring right now. He's in course to be the highest goal scorer in Italy and first African, as a matter of fact. And we really hope he doesn't get injured, so he will get this trophy home. We are rooting for you, Osimhen, if you are listening to us. And of course, to the English Premier League, we saw a repeat of the VAR that I'm pretty tired of talking about. But Olale, I don't want to talk about the VAR unless you guys want me to talk about it. I want to focus on other things. If you give me the permit,
let's do that. Let's focus on the other thing. I think we've overflogged the VAR issue.
Yeah. So the game between Arsenal and Brentford, for starters, Arsenal, ever since the game they drew against Newcastle, it's pretty easy to figure Arsenal out, honestly. And I think I've said this before. I don't know if people were listening. Once you have Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli covered, and you're ensure you break the play from Thomas Partey, Arsenal is pretty much done, unless Odegaard is having a wonderful day or a splendid day. I feel as well that they miss Gabriel Jesus, who could actually give them those kind of outlets. But strangely enough, the game against Brentford, we saw Martinelli that's been out of form, if you ask me, since they came back from the World Cup, starting ahead of Trossard, and we saw Brentford playing, going all out defensive, and Arsenal being bereft of ideas of how to open them up. Do you think it's going to be a challenge for Arsenal going forward, playing against low block defenses, or should I say conservative play, against the smaller teams, quote and unquote. There are no small teams in England, but quote and unquote, the smaller teams in England. And how much of a big deal do you think this is going to become for Arsenal, especially if Arteta does not adapt tactically as soon as possible?
Yeah, for me, I think the challenge now at this stage of the season, they are more psychological than probably tactical. They've played against teams with low block right from the beginning of the season, where they've been successfully be able to break them down. I think pressure is going to be setting in now, considering distraction from Europe too. I just think the ability to manage games properly is going to come around. And unfortunately, I think they probably missed some, because City on their own part, since the restart, they've dropped a lot of couple of points. They dropped points at home to Newcastle. They lost to United. They lost to Spurs.
Yeah.
That's like 8 point drop within that period. But Arsenal have dropped their
official as well
of their own, yeah, from Newcastle game to Everton
game.
now
Brentford.
Brentford. These were games probably on paper that you probably expect them to win, considering what they're going for. I can't fault him for starting Martinelli. I think he just wants to go on with the continuity. At the point in time, of course, Lisandro Trossard will probably come in to start ahead of him. It might come in this midweek game against Chelsea. I think
against Man City.
Man City, I can understand why it does, why it keeps faith with. He kept faith with, what do you call it? Martinelli. He probably want to ease Trossard into the game, into the team. And you don't want it to be like for Martinelli, a guy who has contributed a lot from previous season and this season. Just want to throw him out of the first team like that. So I understand perfectly from that point of view why he still probably left him in the starting lineup. I think they will learn to probably manage the games better in terms of psychologically preparing that most team will come out to play at the low block. They don't have to be frustrated. They have to be more patient in breaking down this team. And when they eventually do, they will have to manage the game better. I think they were even lucky in this game not to have gone behind. Brentford probably had the better chances in the first half.
In the first half, yeah.
Yes. But when Arsenal went ahead, like we rightly said, probably the goalkeeper was fine in no man's land. And when you find yourself in this kind of situation, you will not win all the games by 2-3 goals margin.
Yeah, or playing beautiful football.
You just have to minimize your own error on your own part sometimes to do it. It's disappointing results. They have to come back and regroup against this. I think they can still do it. But they will need to be a bit better. They will need to I think it starts with the Man City game, which I think they don't have to lose.
Yeah. And for me, Olale, I feel the Man City game is a winnable game for them, because Man City will come out and play football against Arsenal. It's not going to be, we're scared of you, or we want to play low block defense or whatnot. And honestly, I don't agree with you when you said they played against low block defenses in the past and they surmounted it. That's when they had.
What I'm telling you is this: I think
that's where they had the element of surprise. These days, they don't again.
The issue is this.
Go ahead, Olale.
The same team they played, they are playing now are the same team they played in the first half of the league. A majority of those teams have been playing low block, but probably then the pressure
wasn't as much.
That was what I was saying. That was what I said. It is more psychological than tactical.
Okay.
That you have to be patient. Probably in the early part of the season, even when the game probably stays at 0-0, they were able to keep their nerves since the expectation was not that much.
But
now that the expectation to win the league is there, you could see those nerves kicking in. You could see that pressure getting to them, and that's why I said it's probably more psychological than
That
being
than
tactical.
tactical. All right,
Yes.
perfect. Of course, Shay, we already discussed about the West Ham Chelsea game and how well Chelsea have improved and how unlucky they were on the day. Willian coming back to score that wonderful goal against Nottingham Forest, defeated Nottingham Forest 2-0. And Shay, Leicester City versus Tottenham Hotspur. I noticed something about Kelechi Iheanacho. Once he gets into that group, he just score like 3, 4, 5 weeks or 3, 4, 5 games, and after then he goes back down to hibernation until the next FA Cup game. But they did wonderful against Spurs, defeating Spurs 4-1. And Pedro Porro, that they signed from Sporting Lisbon, was utterly crucified. I'm wondering, this is the first time in the league, and why are these analysts going all and all? If it was an English, we would do the same to him, or would have said, okay, let's give him some time. He just came from a different league, and that's my question to you, Shay.
I think coming from a different league obviously can be difficult for you, and also throwing into a tough game. Every EPL game is tough.
100%.
You actually need probably some time to understand the nitty-gritty and the pace of the game. But however, I still think there's still quite a lot of faults and lapses on his side, and it's quite early. What is it called? Wake up call. Wake up call for him. So I think he understands what the EPL is right now. He understands the pace. He understands how to command his line well, and probably going forward it might just improve and get in the groove, because it was quite
off pace. And of course, Wolverhampton are coming back right now. They defeated Southampton away from home 2-1, and the coach of Southampton was sacked after just 81 days in charge. Crystal Palace played a 1-1 draw against Brighton and Hove, and of course, Manchester United defeated Leeds United away from home 2-0. Marcus Rashford cannot stop scoring right now. Another goal. It was the other goal that he scored was correctly ruled out for offside. Wonderful goal by Manchester United. Wonderful game at the end of the day. The first half was not as quite juicy as they would want it to be, but the second half they came out gun blazing. Did all the right things, kept it simple. Luke Shaw was exceptional on the day. Even Arrigo Maguire did not put so much wrong foot on the day. At the end of the day, they had a victory. Olale, 5 points off the top of the league, and it's at a point we just need to drag Manchester United into the conversation.
I think Manchester United has missed the point. They've missed that chance to be in that position with those the Crystal Palace away draw, and the home draw against
Leeds United.
Again, to be fair to the team, I think as it stands, they are either overachieving, because looking at the squad, like I rightly said, it's a squad that doesn't really have much there. But concentrating on the game itself, I think the first half was a game. Let me sum it up with what the commentator said. Like it was a game with high energy, but probably low quality. It was very poor. And for United, you can understand that for the major part of the season, the midfield combination has always been Casemiro and Eriksen. In as much as we felt Eriksen doesn't really have that energy to play from that deeper position, but this is a guy who is very cerebral. His passing skills, his vision
Top
makes
notch.
better. He picks players up where they want to be. And for Casemiro, the transition, the balance it gives to the team. that was rightly missing. Sabisa probably is still trying to find his feet. The two games against Leeds were just too much of high energy games. He struggled to be in both games. I have to give him, and again, you have to consider his midfield partner. Fred in both games were just all over the place. It's difficult for a team to win games, or let me say to have control over games when your midfielder keeps losing possession in some very dangerous areas. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Both looking at that, so United didn't have much control like they would like to have. Ten Hag tried to make a lot of adjustments in terms of structure or team or players' position. We saw Bruno moving to the right at the point in time. I think the mistake they made in the first leg was he wasted Rashford on that right for the better part of the game for so long, even when Garnacho was not really performing very well, producing. So and today what he did was eventually, even though he didn't withdraw Vegas, but he probably would he stepped a little bit back to play in the middle. Bruno shifted a little bit to the right and allowed Rashford to play through the center, and that was how the goal came. You have to ask yourself if the players couldn't find a tall Vegas in that middle, and in two games were able to locate Rashford, because that was almost the same position where he scored.
On the first
Wednesday, and he scored again. Good position awareness from him. I think good victory for United by and large, considering the fact those two key players missing from their squad. He tried to rotate his squad a little bit today. I think having the Barcelona game in mind on Thursday. Good victory, and I think the results in other places has gone in their way. Newcastle point. Spurs couldn't win. So I think good for United. They just have to keep that third position for me. There's no need to overthink about the first or second position.
I'm pretty sure you're on a different wavelength from Olale. You came on the show when we started and said, yo, we're back, and I think we could actually win the league. And you re-echoed what Kachi said. Like, okay, we have the chance. All we need to do right now is do the right things, keep winning our games, and hope City and Arsenal drop points. And that's all you can hope for, honestly.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And guess what? No need to put pressure on ourselves. And that I think that will also work for us. I think there's a lot of pressure on Arsenal team right now. If they tend to lose to Man City in the midweek, there'll be a lot of pressure, even though they're having one game at hand. Man City looks like a team that might also win 3 games and draw 1 or lose 1. They don't look like that team they used to be in the last season and the last 2 seasons. If United just do what they're supposed to do, get their players back gradually, Casemiro back into the team, I think Eriksen will still come back around April thereabout. I think the energy of Sabisa will actually complement Casemiro quite well. And Erik ten Hag looked a coach that actually knows what he's doing. Even when he makes substitutions, what you see last week is not what you're seeing this week. So he's bringing that
dynamics.
Yes,
that tactical dexterity to the thing.
Exactly. That makes that any team cannot easily read you and know that this is the way you actually
are playing.
And over the weekend, the 2 legs seeing Rashford scoring headers, it's one of the wonderful things that I can say I've seen this season. But scoring headers, I think the boy is actually stepping up to his
to the glory call.
Yeah, to his potential. But like
Olale does not agree. See the way Olale is looking like what she is saying. But like I don't trust Rashford.
But like I said, of this call, and I think I want to pose that question to Olawale because I really need his take on this. Olawale, is it that Manchester United teams struggle against high energy and fast teams? Or is it the lack of Casemiro and Eriksen that showed in the two games against Leeds? Because to be sincere, they were really pressured and they made a lot of mistakes. Let us be sincere with each other. Both legs,
Now,
they made a lot of mistakes.
for me, I think Leeds United have been team. This is a team that's how they play. It starts, especially. I think it's an imprint from the coach they sacked. What's his name?
Bielsa.
The other one, Jason Match. Probably from.
Oh,
They
Jason
like
Match.
to
Oh,
they
okay.
like to play with full energy, try to pressure you. But when you have cerebral guys who are very calm, who understand how to use the ball very well, I think United will have been in a better position, especially that home game, because despite scoring 2 goals in that second half, United were not in control of that game at any point in time. It was a game that they could have lost easily. The midfield was just all over the place. For me, I think it has to do with the personnel. Like I said, probably the pace of that game was just too much for Sabisa. Then Fred as his partner was not. That was just, let me say, a flashback to the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer days of Mark Fred, where the midfield is nowhere to be found. So for me, it is more about the personnel than because I think with the Casemiro and Eriksen, United could have probably have a little bit of control over, no matter how the energy that Leeds United are bringing in. You could have seen guys who will have probably use their own brain to explore the deficit in the Leeds United
the weaknesses
rather
of
than just
Leeds
going in with
United.
them force by force all over the place. No.
Yeah.
So
Just to chip into your to what you said, Sheyi, and I agree with Alale 100%. When you have cerebral players like Eriksen and Casemiro, they bring a kind of balance. They bring a kind of seniority to the midfield, to the play, and balance it up. But it's always very hard to play against United, and I'll make a reference from the way they played against Arsenal. For instance, the way they played against Chelsea, that's another instance. They pressurize you. And unfortunately, you have guys that are runners in the middle of the park for them. Players like Tyler Adam, who else? Ali, if wasting, Michael wasting if since he came on right now, they have an everything as well. They pressurize you from the middle of the park. So it's a word goal. That's why I feel it's a deficiency for them in the long run, because they cannot sustain that tempo. They will do that against Manchester United this week, and the following week they are playing against Wolverhampton. They are not going to be able to sustain it, right? So it's difficult. I won't blame so much. I won't put so much blame on probably a certain player of United. It's just the way Leeds play. But like Wale said, if you bring in cerebral players that can control the game, make it simpler, it probably, not the word, probably will change. Not necessarily. Probably will change.
Like Shay, like I rightly said, like in the game on Wednesday, I think Ten Hag made some mistakes. Like he wasted Rashford on the right for so long. It wasn't like United they started very poorly. To concede that goal in the second minute was a big problem. Now, I think Garnacho, Rashford is United's most dangerous player. You don't want to play him in his if you have you have 2 players. Now, one is the most dangerous than the other. You want to play your most dangerous player where he can easily influence the game rather than playing him in his weaker position. That is my own take. I would rather have played Garnacho on the right and play Rashford on the left, because Rashford can what will I call it? Can take advantage of those, because United had a lot of balls on that left side, which of course Garnacho is still a young guy. You have to give him you don't expect those consistency just like that.
Yeah.
But it took him for like 60 something minutes before he could decide to swap that position and move Rashford to the center when he removed Vegas in that game. So, coupled with those lack of presence in the midfield, I think playing Rashford on the right, I think it should never happen again. He can't do very well consistently in that right
Consistently
position.
on that angle. Anyways, just before we go on, the last thing is going to be Erling Haaland being substituted after 45 minutes in their game against Aston Villa. Man City won the game 3-1 on the night, but it probably will not play against Arsenal. Does this change so much? I see more problem with Julian Alvarez more than Alan for Arsenal, especially when you are playing against.
Is he injured?
They said he's injured right now.
I don't think so.
But no, it has not been established what the extent of the injury is right now. Maybe he's going to be able to play against Arsenal. Maybe he does not. Actually, does it change any kind of dynamics when you take out Haaland and it's going to play against Arsenal is going to be playing against Julian Alvarez that is fast against Saliba? Or as an Arsenal fan, would you, if you were an Arsenal fan, would you have preferred Haaland being injured permanently and not playing against Arsenal? Shay.
I think as an Arsenal fan, I'd rather have Haaland play. I think Pep has been changing quite a lot of things to fit in Haaland in recent weeks. Not having Haaland on the pitch will give you the Man City of last season, where anybody can coast into the ball. And that is when you see the likes of Mahrez being very...
Yeah, Grealish and the rest, yeah.
And for all you know, Alvarez is another very smart striker. He can link up the pace up very well, and he has a pace to actually rival those two central defenders. I think on the night, I hate to say this to an Arsenal fan, but I think Man City is going to beat Arsenal on Wednesday.
Okay.
And it's going to be a comprehensive
victory.
Unfortunately, if Haaland doesn't play, it makes the Man City team much more dangerous.
Olade, do you agree with Shay, or you think it's?
I don't think I will agree with that. Yes, City might be as in, of course, we know what they can do, but I think the body language of the team has not been that fine. Then we've not seen much continuity, especially since the World Cup. Or for heaven's sake, only Guardiola knows what he's thinking. He's probably trying to implement a 3-man defense, much more of a 3-2-4-1 formation, like what they played today. It was more of it wasn't a 4-4-2 because the initial lineup it was more of Laporte, Diaz, Walker, three-man defense. Now you now have like Rodri and probably Godinhan,
yeah,
on the base. Then you now have a 4-man midfield of Grealish, Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva playing behind Haaland. So, I don't know what's informed that. I don't know why this complication at this time of the season. I don't know, but again, Pep is a genius, and he at every point in time he just wants to prove it to us that I know better than you people.
Better than everybody in the world. All right, perfect.
So, but I don't think I've seen enough of them. I think if Haaland is not playing, psychologically, I think Arsenal might be in a better place. Psychologically, they might be in a better place. I just have a feeling that Arsenal might win that game because City has just looked like it's not like they've not. If you check Kevin De Bruyne, it doesn't look like Kevin De Bruyne. It seems Foden from nowhere, it just dropped out of the team. I think there is more going on in that team than the information we have
right now.
Season. I just don't. I don't know. They've not been looking that convincing at all, and the body language has not been good. So
All
from this
right.
one, I don't think they can beat Arsenal on that day.
All right, perfect. I'm just going to read a couple of the replies, or should I say, a couple of the comments that we have online. Someone said, Olakule said, Potter is not capable of tutoring this caliber of players. He should be sacked, basically. And he said, are there any low block defense team in the APL anymore? And he said, considering the fact that Alan is a prolific goal scorer. He bullies. His absence will be favorable for us now. But of course, Julian Alvarez is dangerous as well. And he said that's right from Olali. Thank you very much, Olakule, for giving us your thoughts while you are watching the show. And that will be the end of the show for us today. Till we see you again next week. My name is Tiladeja Adebowale, and this show is proudly sponsored by Hypermatch, the new way to play fantasy football. Bye, guys, and have a wonderful week.